mute that shit. All right, ready?
Run that burp back for me.
I can't have anything in the tank. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to episode number 14 of the Forgecast. Now I know it's been a long 14 weeks. Or it's actually been 15 since we started, but I know our hosts are kind of inconsistent, but what is consistent is my dick size. Now, that being said, we have AB here today with us.
What's good? I just washed my face with the used towel of a woman.
Yes, sir. You got to rub pussy on him some way. Cleveland's not here still. He was really sick. We're 99% sure he's out with COVID, and so he's been out. And then and he texted me today he's going to be taking some time off, so he won't be in the podcast for a little bit. But no worries. He's just getting back on track with work and all that shit. So that's okay. So we're gonna have Zuck filling in most of the time. And then today, when I told him, he was like, "Go fuck yourself, fuck the podcast." No, he's busy tonight, so he couldn't make it. Word. Actually, that's exactly what he said, word for word. I'll show you. I'll pull up the text right here. No, but he's just busy, and we are recording this like mad late. What is it? It's 9:13 on a Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving. This episode will be up on Thanksgiving, so if you're watching this, instead of spending time with your family, both wise choice and happy Thanksgiving.
Fucking cheers.
Cheers. Go pork out. This is definitely an excuse to get drunk. I'll be drinking a lot tonight of Thanksgiving, because I had to work. I worked, and but I get to go home on Friday, so it's okay. But let's see, right now in gaming, there's like nothing going on other than this like bullshit with Activision, which is just, I'll have to get into that. But Warzone is going to be a completely different game when Vanguard integrates, which is less than 2 weeks now, right?
Bro, yeah, I think December 8th for Vanguard owners, December 9th for everyone else. Dude, the fact that I didn't even know the new map was called Caldera, I'm way behind the times here.
I don't think that's that bad, really. I don't. Like, I really don't. Like, I mean, like, I knew that, but I'm not, like, obviously we know Verdansk, but, like, it's very clearly advertised, like, oh, this is Verdansk.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Versus, like, Caldera, they're not advertising it like, oh, this is Caldera. Like, it's not like that. So I wouldn't be, like, too freaked out about that. But then again, like, like I said, they're not, like, being like, oh, can't wait for Caldera to come out. They're like, Warzone. They're calling it Warzone Pacific.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's what I would assume it's called. If I was like kind of out of the loop and not paying as much attention, I'd be like, oh, it's Warzone Pacific. That's the new map name.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I don't know how super excited I am for a new map. Well, I mean, I am super excited for a new map, but I feel like I'm way more interested in how the weapons are going to change. I know we were talking about the other night and how the Vanguard weapons are going to be integrated in everything. Like, is everything going to have 10 attachments? I don't know.
Right.
So Black Ops guns with 10 attachments would definitely be the meta. Hey, I think I was talking with Squid and Lunch about it, about when the Black Ops guns got integrated, Cold War guns got integrated. They were obviously OP because people want to use the new guns. They want you over on the new game, leveling the new guns. I feel like the same thing's going to happen with Vanguard, but it's just going to be really interesting to see how everything settles once it drops.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, I'm looking forward. I like Vanguard a lot. Vanguard's a sick game. And like the 10 attachments is fucking weird, but yeah, it's like, like having 10 attachments on the gun is busted. The gunsmith is revolutionary in Call of Duty. Like, it makes way more sense to have like less attachments, because like no soldiers rolling deep any fucking war with 10, like, a fucking scope, different ammo mods, like all that shit. Like, that's obviously, they're not like, oh, these are, you can have this monkey nuts mag holding 150 bullets, but they're incendiary. Like, that's a little like,
bro,
you
watch Saving Private Ryan, they pulled up on D-Day with just fucking stripped Tommy gun, bro. Just nothing on that bitch.
Right.
Just stick mag and you're good.
Right, exactly. And then what was it? It was it's in what was it? In like Russia, was it, I think, or Germany? They were just sending dudes out to fight, and they didn't even have guns. They were like, pick it off a fucking dead body.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're not putting fucking attachments on this shit. So
I mean, that's touching on realism, and I think they already touched, like, They already made clear like, hey, Vanguard, this is in
Not
the same
realistic.
era, but not realistic. Yeah.
Well, it's their own spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is now the third World War II game that they've done in that
well,
series.
they're really pushing on the on keeping that same like original consistent idea. It's no man, I mean it's like whatever. Like the last World War II game, I was like, wow, another World War II game. I'm so glad we have
I guess
another one of these.
engine wise, I'm with you. I'm much more pleased with Vanguard because I remember
Uh-huh.
playing Call of Duty World War II, and I was just frankly not impressed. Like it was COD, it was fun,
Uh-huh.
but it did not feel right. I think that Modern
Right.
Warfare engine is going to be what's going to keep them going. Black Ops engine, I don't know what they're going to do for that. Like if they keep alternating year after year, but that Modern Warfare engine just feels so nice.
Well, you know that because like Cold War guns, I think Squid said like, or I don't know who said, but they're like it's not, or maybe you said it, they were like there's gonna be the weird like Cold War guns were broken for obviously because like there was a higher TTK on Cold War,
Yeah,
so the damage was all different, and so then you bring that into Warzone where the TTK is like not similar in the slightest,
it's more
um,
normalized. Yeah,
but like the damage is different. Like
yeah,
well, like obviously TTK in Warzone is longer. It's 250 health versus 150 in Cold War, but like they kept the TTK like pretty much around the same time to kill in both games. So like, but that means the numbers have to be higher,
yeah,
like for damage. So then you bring that into Warzone, you're fucking annihilating people because the other guns aren't even close to that because they don't have the same damage profiles.
yeah.
And so like and that's like an issue with crossing the engine. Like they should have just copy pasted values and didn't really go in like, oh, like clearly they didn't try fucking anything.
Oh yeah,
Because like even if they went through and like did minimal testing and they're like, let's do 10 interactions with each gun, right? So they'll go in and let's think like the XM4 was never really like crazy. The Cray wasn't that crazy. Like the ARs weren't all that crazy. The FFAR was nuts though.
yeah.
So like
yeah.
but like they're like, oh, ARs, let's just try these at range, and like we'll say that like they're probably all pretty consistent for the most part. Like the FFR wasn't really annihilating people from mid to long range like you would with the normal
Yeah.
AR, but then like but then up close, obviously the FFR like exceeded,
Oh
but they
yeah.
didn't they probably like didn't try that. Out of like 10 interactions, like they probably didn't even try that if they did any trying, which we know they don't.
No.
And then like if they would have fucking put on the DMR at any fucking ranges, they would have been like, wow, like after the second
Oh,
interaction,
bro.
they're like, I just killed you in 2 bullets and I shot your little shoelaces.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's fine. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
clearly didn't do any testing, so that's where that problem laid. But
No, I agree
that
there. I think.
that was like,
Oh,
go
sorry, I
ahead.
was gonna say. I think the balance comes in after. Is like I feel like if you go into Cold War and you play with the play with any gun, take the new one, the Grav. Take the Grav
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example. You play with that in Cold War.
Fucking
It's
sucks.
not bad. It has like no recoil realistically, and it still hits like a truck. Then you pop it in a Warzone, and it's bouncing all over the place, and like you can barely hit a shot.
Mhm.
I think they do two separate models, like one for Cold War and then one for Warzone.
Right.
But the values, what you're saying is probably about the same. But I think that the weapon models are totally different. Like for the
Yeah.
what was that weird 3 burst I like using? The Carve.
Uh-huh.
Carve,
Yeah.
totally different weapon in Cold War. So I mean, on top of like how they're going to integrate the attachments, I'm insanely curious in how realistic or how accurate it's going to be to how Vanguard has their setup currently. If it's just going to be MP40s and STGs with damage mags running around.
Right.
That's the
Yeah,
other thing.
well,
Is like,
it's like we're going, because and then like an issue there obviously was like going engine to engine was like the issue because like we're
Yeah.
going from Modern Warfare or Cold War to Modern Warfare, but
True.
now we're going from where it's switching to the Vanguard engine basically, which is the same Modern Warfare engine, which with it's slightly modified, but it's all
Yeah.
Vanguard guns. So I think the issue again, I think the Vanguard guns are gonna be good. Like obviously we're like the STG's gonna fucking slap. Like Vital, that's fucking crazy on
Dude.
AR to like change the headshot hitbox essentially, and then like their shit does more like limb damage. Like you're gonna get annihilated by these guns, like
Yeah.
flat out. You're gonna get destroyed. But at the same time, like I think there might be issues with Cold War guns again because that's now changing engines again.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure like most of the numbers will still be the same, like same TTK, this, that, whatever. But like the Cold War guns weren't built on that engine. Modern Warfare guns, we might see the Modern Warfare guns all be nasty again. And so I think it's gonna be a really fucked up, and then like the movement's different, the map's different. There's gonna be a different gun feel. Like,
so are bringing the Vanguard movement into Warzone?
yeah, it's all gonna be Vanguard movement.
I remember hearing about that because I think Smoke was pissed about it. Smoke was like, I'm not gonna be able to slide cancel as much anymore. I can't do the oh my god. I think it was slide canceling. He was pissed that you can't really do that in Vanguard because there's a delay on the auto attack sprint.
It might have seen Smoke's out. Well, I know I tweeted something about it, about Vanguard being a different game, and then a streamer and friend, content creator we follow, Cammy Slays, he responded to my tweet, and we kind of went back and forth, and the movement now is like not all that difficult to kind of get down. Like, obviously that's like the pretty much only skill gap in the game. Like, you can only shoot those straight, and with guns that don't even have recoil, like, just aim. Like, obviously your aim can only really get so good, like realistically.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like movement is your opportunity to be better at it. But like in this game, like fucking Cat can slide cancel. It's not that hard. And like slide cancel is like the bit, like it's like you're either a bot or you're slide canceling. Like that's kind of like the jump. And then from there, like once you get to that point, like you're already a better player. And like Cat can fucking slide cancel. Like she can't perfectly keep up with us because we've mastered it all. But like it's not that hard. And now like the movement on Vanguard, the pros have figured it out. Obviously, like our competitive players have figured it out more. Like Kage, his movement's disgusting. I don't even know how he moves the way he moves.
Oh, dude.
Like dude shits on me on like 200 ping. I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. I was spectating on some of the S&Ds and his movement. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
It's just so clean. And that comes with, obviously, he's grinding more than us. He's probably got way more days played. I just saw yesterday I have like a day and 5 or 6 hours played. Lunch has like 5 days played. I can only imagine what Kage has played. Oh my god. But we'll obviously figure out the movement because we're just like, I mean, we'll say like 2 or 3 months ago we just got into like the camera breaking meta and like slamming doors and going like sliding into people. Like we just started getting into that, and like Warzone had been out for a year.
Oh yeah.
And like so we're obviously gonna figure shit out as we go. But like I think that adds a new skill gap to the game because like the people who are gonna be good, they're gonna figure out the movement. And then obviously the people who don't figure out the movement, they'll learn from the people who do have it figured out.
Yeah.
And like now it's just kind of like, oh, you just double tap B and then like jump, like that's how you slide cancel, or however you do it.
Yeah.
But it's like that's not that hard if Cat figured it out in one night. Like there's been times where like I'll pick up, or like Cat will be playing and I'll be dead or whatever, and they're like, oh, Blake picked up Cat's controller. It's like no, Cat's slide canceling and bunny hopping. Like it's not that hard of a concept to get a hold of. So, in my opinion, I believe that the movement change just will add a skill gap to Warzone. I think it's going to be a lot of fun because there's going to be a lot of learning again. Obviously, the map. And the guns won't be all that new because we'll all have them maxed out. But, in a new sense, integration of the way you use them. And just, like, it's not, we have to figure out how to move around the map again. We can't just fucking finger bang B and get like you're fucking hitting the deck. Like all of our genes in Warzone should be shredded to pieces.
Oh yeah,
because we were just sliding in the dirt. But and I still try to figure it out in Vanguard, like how to move, how to be like more consistently be tack sprinting. I think there's gonna be like a lot of bots who like it more because like they get caught tack sprinting because they just have auto tack sprint on.
Oh yeah.
And then their sprint to fire's off, so we get first shot, first 2 shots, first 3 shots, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I fucking died before I could even shoot because they were tack sprinting.
Yeah.
And they didn't know how to like kind of break that. But now now that they don't have to get caught in that movement anymore because you can't, it doesn't refresh as fast basically. Like there's more of that delay.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think to your point, like that movement mechanic is going to be very key in separating bots from non-bots. Everybody's gonna be able to shoot straight, and I feel like. It's funny you mentioned Vital because I keep forgetting that that's a perk on some guns. Not to mention Lengthen for bullet velo. Like all these Vanguard specific attachments. I feel like if they don't balance it right, it's gonna absolutely break the game.
Well, they already balanced. Like they did this in Vanguard, and I didn't realize it until I was in the patch notes. I just didn't realize it until Syke and Lunch pointed out to me. But like Vital plus the damage rounds on the STG already don't work. Like it nerfs it. Like it's not as OP. That's that's how we're getting these 2-shot STGs. So like that's already a way they're like, oh, we fix this. Because I could see that being a Warzone. Like, oh, I got fucking our entire team just got smoked in 10 bullets. How did he do that? He had 2 attachments on his fucking gun.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the gist of it. And so like they already kind of, and it's all going to be like under the hand of Sledgehammer for the most part. Raven will still have their hand in it, but like Raven's done a great job balancing. So Raven will find a way to fix this, but I hope they take Sledgehammer's approach, because Sledgehammer's like, well, we put Vital in the game, and we want it to be used, so we can't just nerf it and make it a dog shit perk.
Yeah.
But we can't just remove damage rounds, because the point of the damage rounds is them doing more. So if
you
combine them, that's where the issue is.
I think it'll be different. So like, you know how Cold War guns where some attachments would, I guess for zombies is a perfect example. Like the attachments to zombies have completely different attributes than what they do in multiplayer.
Right.
And some of them have the same thing between Cold War multiplayer and Warzone. And I feel like they'll probably do something similar where it's like, okay, maybe Vital won't increase a headshot hitbox range, because that's fucking ridiculous. But maybe it'll increase. I don't know. But they'll switch the values around so it's not as busted as one might just assume.
And I think Sledgehammer's gonna be way more calculated with all this shit.
Who was overseeing Warzone before?
It was so let's see. To start, it was Infinity Ward, and then someone stepped in. And when Cold War happened, I know someone kind of picked up on it, or maybe like they hired a new team. But I think
they definitely needed a new team, because I didn't realize Warzone would be so huge.
I think Treyarch picked up on it when Cold War went in, and then Treyarch is like, we couldn't even finish Cold War in time. The fuck you think we can do Warzone 2?
That's right.
And then Raven picked it up. But Raven picked it up. I think I don't know the entire timeline, but Raven is over it now. Like, because I know multiple studios picked it up at some point.
Yeah.
But I know Raven's over it now, and then that's kind of like when we got into like the lull, like you saw like the Krig get nerfed. Yeah. Like you saw everything like really be balanced, so like you can get away with any guns for the most part now. Like obviously the OTS is still best. Obviously the M2s is still the best they are. Yeah. Like they're still the like the kingpins.
Yeah.
But like I can still get away with an AMAX. I can still get away with a Farah. I'll probably, like last time I was using the Cold War MP5.
Yeah.
And it's good. I think it got nerfed because I was losing like every gunfight to an OTS.
Yeah, its damage range got nerfed.
Oh, I mean I don't know what it is, but it's like I don't know what was causing it, because I feel like I was losing gunfights up close. But
yeah. I definitely did enjoy hopping on Warzone for a bit. It was like, it's been a damn near a month.
It was refreshing.
Yeah.
It was refreshing to like do something different.
But again. I definitely only use Cold War guns.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, there was no like, oh, I can use whatever I want. It's like, no, fuck you. This is what you're using.
No, the OTS is still definitely nuts. I was trying to fuck around and use that Lapa, but no.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying, like, I use the Lapa. Like, shut the fuck up. No, you're not.
Fuck.
So, yeah, I mean, but I'm excited for it. I don't, I mean, I just don't, I don't know, man. I am, you know, and like I said about the actors and things, like, I am tired of, like, the lull these games, like, Call of Duty can get into. And so then with, like, Vanguard, like, you know, with Vanguard, you know, it just came out, and then I'm pissed. I can't get the SCG gold. They finally fixed the automaton, and so like, but Vanguard already kind of had a point where I'm like, oh, same fucking shit. Yeah. And like, obviously, I want to just grind camos on there, but like now we're playing GBs, and like that's my version of like keeping it fresh, keeping it new is like competing in a way, but I'm not going to go fucking compete this year. Oh, yeah. I don't have the time to do that. Like, I don't even have the time to stream, really. Me and you had that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just like, you know, I'll get my guns. I'll end up getting Atomic because I'm pretty dedicated to that this year. I'm almost done with the launchers. I'll finish the shotguns tonight, and then I'll go into the ARs.
Man, y'all are nuts for that. Jesus Christ, lunch is damn near there.
Lunch finished fucking Dark Matter before it Cold War integrated. Like, I don't fucking man is nuts. But I hope there's more they do. I hope they have a lot of content that comes out to keep the game fresh. And I don't know what that is. I really, really hope there's a ranked play.
Yeah, because as far as pubs or Warzone?
Fucking both.
Because I think ranked play has been confirmed for Vanguard pubs.
Well, I know it has, but like I need it soon. Like the Cold War ranked came way too fucking late. I was like, I'm already done. Yeah. I'm over this game already.
Yeah. That was fun though. Like if they added a Cold War ranked, or a Vanguard ranked playlist, we had a shit ton of fun playing that on Cold War. It was just I did not enjoy the fact it was Cold War.
Yeah, it was too late. Yeah. It was way too late. For that to be a Yeah, no, I was like, I'm over this fucking game. But me and you, like, we like playing GBs. We're having a lot of fun playing the GBs.
Oh, yeah.
We got fucking ripped apart on the, what's it called last night?
The Minions Search,
the Search
bro.
and Destroy.
Yeah.
Like, those kids had routes. They were really, they knew what they were doing.
That was the first time I played Search on Vanguard. First time ever. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So I think playing pub Search might help a bit, but yeah, that was fucked.
Yeah, that was my first time too, and I was like, this is fucked up, man. I don't.
And we flipped sides, and it's like, okay, this dude's already in my spawn. I'm dead.
Yeah, I didn't.
I respect it though. I mean, they know their shit.
They're grinding.
Yeah. It's like, not grinding like camos are, you know. But.
So, yeah, man, they need to do something. They really need to do something to keep the game fresh, man.
I agree. As far as, well, both Vanguard and Warzone too, because I think Warzone, the only reason that was like that I kept playing is because they brought Rebirth Island in. I feel like Verdansk was getting really boring, and some of the LTMs are fun. Obviously, the Halloween.
Dude, I don't even
want
to play Verdansk anymore. I'm just running around the whole fucking time.
Yeah, no, that's the same way I feel. But like, fucking Psych and Zuck only like Verdansk, so I'll hop in with them. And yeah, half the time it is that. Half the time it's running around. The other half the time you get picked off, and then the third half of the time you're actually having a good time. So it's like such a fucking hit and miss.
Yeah,
I feel
like, and that's it. Like, you know, and people like Verdansk because it's, you know, whatever. But like, let's be real. I'm not playing to win. I'm definitely playing Call of Duty to shoot people.
Yeah.
If I was playing to win, I'd be a little fucking turtle.
Yeah.
Like, just playing, you know, domination, capping flags. Like, I'd be the fucking guy in patrol who has 400 fucking seconds on the time, and your teammate's on a burner getting camos, and you're like, fucking thanks.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm having a beer, I just got off work. You're like, fuck you, I was having a good game. You know, like, I'd be that guy.
Oh, dude.
But I don't play fucking Call of Duty to win games.
Fuck
no.
that.
I'm on it to shoot fucking people.
Yeah. And if we're on GBs for sure, like, that's the objective. Like, you're
right.
being competitive in that sense, but
that's what fucking GBs are for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, but I am looking forward to the Vanguard integration. It'll be fun. I've already declared though, I'm done buying packs, battle passes, whatever. The last battle pass was gonna be the last battle pass I'll buy. I think I just had the COD point saved up. But the shit with Activision, man, and like Bobby Kotick is so gross. I can't. Like, if I wasn't so grossly addicted to Call of Duty as a game, I mean, I've been playing it since MW, the first Modern Warfare.
Just come play Outriders with me, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to chop my cock off before I do that. But, like, you know, obviously the Bobby Kotick, he's the CEO of Activision. He makes them a lot of money.
Yeah.
But, like, their stock price is plummeting. He knows about, like, the sexual assault and abuse. And his idea is, oh, these employees are doing this? Oh, these are the board members doing this?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Blizzard, not Activision, right?
He's the fucking head CEO of the whole fucking shebang, though.
No, and I get it, but because he owns Blizzard. Activision owns Blizzard, yeah?
Right.
And that branch of Blizzard in California is the one going through all this shit, right?
I'm 99% sure. Let me look it up. But yeah, keep going.
I know it's the one in California because it was right around we moved here. Yeah, he doesn't have time for that shit. It's supposed to be someone else handling it, but I definitely agree because Call of Duty is under the Activision tree. Obviously, the BattleNet, fucking everything is under the Activision tree. I agree, it's fucked. I think they've just been laughing it off. Honestly, they're probably just dealing with all the lawsuit behind the scenes at this point.
Well, but it doesn't, because it's not like Amazon, the god fucking company, and like it dealing with something at like fucking Ring doorbell, like the Ring door, like that's not their fucking problem. They own them, but like something happening at Ring is like that's Ring, like that's big. But like Activision and Blizzard are like huge. Like it's not Activision and then like Blizzard below them. It's Activision Blizzard. Like it's one entity now.
Is it?
Realistic? Yeah. You don't. I mean, obviously we go, oh, Activision runs the game. We don't see Blizzard on the front of Call of Duty, but it's still like, oh, hey, where do you work? Most like people who actually work in like the corporate structure, they're like, oh, I work at Activision Blizzard. Yeah. Like that's what they would say, and it's like board members are doing this shit. People that are on the same board as Kotick, and he's going, oh, they're assaulting people. That's fine. We'll just do a sensitivity training. It's like, no.
Well,
and then
that's the kind of thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and he's done shit too. That's not great. Like he said shit. There was just a video I watched. He said something to an employee a couple years ago at a party, and he's like, "No, I wasn't at that party." It's like, "Yeah, you were. There's pictures of it. Like you were there. Whatever said." And he was like, "Well, I was probably drunk." It's like that doesn't make it okay.
Not excuse.
But like they're backing him, and they're like, "Yeah, no, this is okay. We'll just do training." It's like, no, fire these fucking assholes and like actually fix this problem.
No.
And so like, I'm just like, you know what? And my fucking $40 they're gonna get from me isn't shit. But like that's just like I can't support this shit anymore. I'm grossly addicted to this game. I'm giving you enough money by paying this shit every year.
Oh yeah.
But like,
and I agree with you, Blake, on all fronts. On all fronts, I got 2 points. One, I definitely don't need a battle pass or to spend any more money.
They're fucking shitty, anyways.
No. Yeah, no, and I the first few were great. Like it was cool. I got some limited time stuff, whatever. I was super into it. But yeah, you don't need it. You don't. It's an extra $20 I could be spending elsewhere. But secondly, bro, from a corporate standpoint, and I'll play a devil's advocate on this one. If they fold in any form or fashion, they're fucked. Because then every media outlet's going to take that, run with it, be like, hey, Activision Blizzard admitted to being this awful company. Why are you supporting them? And I think that's why they're going so light with it, because they can't admit any guilt without.
No. Like, I don't think.
Think about this. Think about if Costco did this, right? I'm familiar with some of the big leagues over there. I've met the CEO, like I've shook his hand. I've met like his second handers, the ones below him. If any one of them were committed or found out of any of that kind of shit, the whole company would crumble. People would not shop at Costco if they heard about that.
But the issue isn't like, oh, there's allegations. Like it's confirmed it's happening. Like they've already like sent like employee like memos out. They're doing like the trainings. Like they very much acknowledge like this is what's happening, and they're already kind of being like annihilated. What they should do is fucking get rid of this CEO. But the board of directors at Activision Blizzard is all of Body Kotick's like buddies. So they're all like, this is great. We're making millions of dollars. So that's why so he'll have to like willingly basically like step down. But it's known. It's known that this is happening. I mean, thousands of employees are walking out. Hundreds of them employees are suing them. So it's not like this is just a kind of allegation they're dealing with.
I'm just saying, if Bobby Kotick is CEO?
Yeah.
If he's going to outright and say, like, hey, I did these things, that would destroy the company. It doesn't matter if it's known or not. It's a matter of whether they own up to it. Just say, I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, like, their stock prices just tanked because investors are like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll...
Well, it's the general consumer that fuels that stock price. Like, and if they're pissed that much, like... You gotta think of like how many? You said hundreds of thousands of employees.
Yeah, I mean like the walkouts that they do. It's been like
their families
are thousands each time.
Yeah, you think them and like it branches out from there. Like there's probably every one of those 100,000 employees has somebody that's supporting them in their walkout. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the numbers just double.
Yeah. Well, it's just and the only way change is gonna happen is by, everyone like standing. But it's like, then again. This man clearly doesn't give a fuck. He fired, like, a lot of the CDLs, and that's another fucking problem is the CDL.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, they fired a lot of the CDL talent team when COVID broke out, and then Kotick took, like, a $200 million pay bonus. It's like, that totally fucking makes sense. You just fire people and then take their money. That's what you did.
It's fucked.
Yeah, it's like, that's fucked up. The CDL, man, it's such a shame. It's such a fucking shame. Like, they founded it because, like, the CDL was run by, or not CDL, it was the CWL, and that was all run by,
League. It was called World League before it was CDL, right?
Yeah. And it was run by MLG, Major League Gaming, which is now Game Battles. It was run by them, and they, and the Activision's like, I want this money.
Yeah.
And so they made the CDL franchising, and, like, the teams had to pay for, like, a $25 million spot. And I learned yesterday, Activision takes not only obviously the money for franchising, but like all the stuff in like merch sales and all the stuff from not merch sales, the team packs like on the games and shit. Yeah. That doesn't go to the team. Like I would always buy the FaZe pack because I like FaZe.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy it this next year because the money doesn't go to FaZe. The money goes to Activision. Like all of it goes to Activision.
Activision probably pulls a lease to be able to sell that copyright and shit. They probably
the
pay
team.
FaZe in a lump sum on the back end.
But what I'm saying is like they get like 99%. Like if it was going like mostly to FaZe, I'd be like, here you go, because that's FaZe's spot. Like FaZe paid $25 million for this spot,
Yeah.
so you'd think they'd get the money. I'm sure like in Major League Baseball, the MLB gets a cut of all the fucking sales from the Dodgers and the Yankees and the whoever. But majority of it, I'm sure, also goes to the team. So then like the teams have to obviously create more content. They got to come out with their own merch, whatever. And I don't know all the cuts of it. Like Activision just milks all the fucking money out of the CDL, and then like where all the money is for these teams is in hosting in the venues. But then it's like, okay, then we got to take a shitload of money to host this awesome venue for hosting like the CDL event, whatever it is, every month. So it'll be like Optic, then FaZe, then the Empire, then the whoever, and so like that's where all those. But it's like how much money they probably spend, we'll say $500,000 on this venue, and then are they making all that back? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like they're putting a lot. So you'd think like that's like a spot where the CDL would put a lot of money into it. It's like, but Blizzard owns Overwatch. They franchised Overwatch, and Overwatch competitive fucking died. And so it's like, well, there goes that.
Overwatch died quick too, I feel like.
And I mean, Overwatch also had. I mean, that obviously wasn't the reason it died. Like it died because there's no new content coming out. Yeah. It was the same shit over and over again. Like it wasn't that. There wasn't that much to the game really. Like it was a fucking amazing game, but there just wasn't the backing by Blizzard, which is unfortunate. But like Call of Duty, God, I'm yawning so much. We need to go to the gym. They're like. So like Optic and Dallas merged.
Yeah.
So it's now Envy and Optic, and Envy owns Empire, but they still own that spot. So obviously Dallas Empire had a spot and Optic had a spot, and so then when Envy acquires Optic, the two spots come together, but they only made one roster.
Yeah.
And so then they have this 12th. They have the 12th spot. And what they were going to do is loan it to a team, like a company who was like looking to dip their toes into Call of Duty esports. And Activision goes, no. You have to sell the spot. And they're like, well, how about we loan it for, $10 million or $5 million? Like it would be a cost like that. Yeah. And they're like, and then maybe the next year they'll go, oh, we like this a lot. And then they'll buy the spot. Like that would make more sense because then Activision's making the $5 million on top of the $25 million. And like, no, you have to sell the spot. You have to sell it. And it's like, well, that no one wants to fucking be in esports owned by Activision because you guys rape your employees.
Dude, so, it's honestly just the case of a classic corporation, bro. Like they're probably just doing the absolute bare minimum to make the most money.
Oh, fucking absolutely. I mean, Activision makes so much money.
I guarantee you there's other companies in the US and around the world that do the same thing just on a smaller scale.
Or there's not as much as on a global platform, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad, man. I mean, I'm such a fan of the CDL, obviously, as you know.
Yeah.
It's a shame watching it hurt, and it's like realistically, what all the team owners need to do is sell all their spots, like back out of it, all from Activision. Activision will have to give them the money back, or however that works. They need to get rid of all their spots, have all 12 spots open. And they just need to go back to the CWL or a different framework of that.
Yeah.
But then it's like they're still playing Activision's game. Activision could just go like, no, this doesn't happen.
We don't want to let you franchise our game like this for a fucking World League. Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd wish they would just like.
It's because they have a monopoly on it, right? Like there's no other Call of Duty like that. That is it.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean,
hey,
I'm sure a lot of pros would just.
That might change
I'm sure a lot of
something.
would just go to Halo.
Yeah. Halo coming in, that might change something because the viewers go with the players. They don't go with the company.
Right.
So it really depends on who plays.
Right. And it's like, there's another Call of Duty, like there's CSGO and there's like Valorant and there's like League of Legends and there's like Dota. Yeah. So like those are all like very similar games. Like Dota and League of Legends is like point and click. I'm 99% sure. That's both. I know that's how League is. I've seen Dota gameplay. I'm like, that looks like League.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And so, and then Valorant is like, if you're not moving, if you're running, your bullets aren't going straight. You have to stand still, your bullets go straight.
Yeah.
And then CS:GO is the same way. Like, there's very similar games, obviously different in both respects. Obviously, I've played both CS:GO and Valorant. So like CS pros would be like, well, fuck Valve, who runs the CS:GO competitive scene and made CS:GO. They were like, fuck this. Like, Valve doesn't care about us. This game's old. I'm gonna go to Valorant, and then they go to Valorant and make an amazing career. Like the Sentinels, the team who won the first major championship, had Tins, who was like a curse on teams. He was supposed to be like the prodigy and couldn't fucking win anything, choked everything. You had like Shazam, who couldn't win anything, like was so close so many times, couldn't win anything. You had guys like Hiko, who went to 100 Thieves, who won the first like qualifier or something like that. Again, curse. Like, these are guys who were so close to success in CS:GO. Like, I'll go try the other one out, and they end up having major success. And like, guys can't do that in Call of Duty. They're like, fuck, I'm stuck here,
dude.
Like, there's no other controller shooter. They can go to Halo, but like, Halo's way fucking different.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I just
there's no
Call of Duty,
no lateral movement like that for sure. I mean,
yeah, Call of Duty competitive was so great in the CWL. Like, any fucking team, you could have a team of fucking plumber dads pull up to the COD champs, and have to, obviously they'll have to play in a giant bracket tournament. They'll be playing all day, every single day, and they could run every team's shit, pull up in the final match against fucking Optic, FaZe, whoever, and win champs.
Yeah. Well, like, definitely kind of glass ceilinged it too, because then you have all these other teams. Like, for example, if our comp guys wanted to go try, there's like tons of what do you think? What do you think's just any average comp team, just some random set of dudes who's like grinding it out? What do they have to do to get a spot in the CDL? Well,
it's like, they have to grind pro points, and we saw a little bit of this last year with with Spread. I almost said Spread. Boom Kids, the company he works for and played for. Spread, they came out with their roster for Cold War. Our friend Soul or Garrett was on it. Boom Kid was on it. Like, we saw a lot of different guys on it. And we saw them grinding. Like, they were going for their pro points. They were like, we want to go to LANs, this, that. And like, COVID obviously was still kind of rolling, so it made things weird. But it's like, they had to grind for their pro points. But like, pro points only gets you into like certain tournaments, and those tournaments maybe gets you into a LAN. And then you show up at LANs, you just shit on in LANs. But like, before it was like, you could show up to these giant fucking events, and there would be like the AM challenge, like challengers, whatever we'll call them.
Yeah.
And it was just a sub tournament of the pros, and you could see guys like Simp, like they'd walk over, like that's how those guys got discovered. Like, they would just shit on everyone in these tournaments at LAN, and they'd be like, oh my god, these guys are legit. Like, Formal was just playing on buttfuck random teams with who are all people who are on all legends.
Yeah.
But then they got a shot, like they did good enough, and they got a shot to play against like Scump. And then Scump's like, this Formal guy shit all on my chest. This guy's good. And then right there, he's in.
Yeah.
Like, he's, and he's good enough to be in. It's just getting that
that
exposure.
That kind of exposure is impossible nowadays. Those guys just got lucky playing in that era.
Right. Like, all the pros now, like, I don't know of any pros now that like are just coming up through it.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, there's no way you just make it to a pro league. Like, you can't.
Yeah, and there's no like farm systems. I mean, like FaZe and like the other different challenger teams, but there's no like farm systems like, oh, this guy's playing in like the college esports league, the NCAA's like esports league, and he's dunking on everybody. Because it's like, I don't need to. It's not like sports where you need to go and like kind of mature and get better as you get older, and now you're in high school playing, and now they're 17, they're watching you like, when he gets to college, we'll see. And then it's like, okay, now you're 20, come play in the big league. It's like, you're 16 and you're shitting on Scump who's 30?
Yeah.
Sounds great, come in the league. And then he gets shot on by everyone else. Like, there's no real age specification gap, other than you have to be 18 by Activision's ruling.
By law, yeah.
Based on
the game, yeah.
Like, there's 16-year-olds who could probably compete in the CDL, but they just not old enough. And again, they don't have the exposure, and they won't ever be seen.
Yeah. No, and I think to your point, I never watched a whole lot of competitive, like back when it was COD World League. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, it'd be on the TV sometimes, and I'd be watching and be like, Mom, can we switch the channel?
Yeah.
But that kind of thing was dope. Everybody have that equal opportunity to show off, like, hey, this is how fucking good we are. And it just feels like a glass ceiling now. I feel like, you know what I mean? Last year or a couple years ago, we were grinding for Modern Warfare 2019. Like, there was really nowhere else for us to go besides play a small time.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we were, and there was like the small, like very super small scales. Like, there was Instagram, definitely the worst players in competitive. And then we went and played in like Twitter tournaments because it was all hosted by teams that are mainly on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they destroyed us. And we're like, okay, Twitter's the next step up. So we go play kids on Twitter, we get better. And it's like, now what?
Yeah.
Like, we play online tournaments? How far is that going to get us? Because you don't, in like the pro points ladder, you don't see Scump and Formal and Dash. Like, you don't see them because they're busy playing fucking pros.
Yeah.
Like, no one goes, like the FaZe coach doesn't go on Game
Twitter.
Battle's website and go, this guy's at the top of the pro points ladder. I'll pick him up. Like, that doesn't mean shit. He just grinded the most.
Yeah.
And then, like the guys who were ranked the highest in Cold War, like, I was in Masters for a majority of Cold War ranked. I played keyboard and mouse. I didn't deserve that. I just kind of played more and happened to get placed in Masters. But then the people who were ranked higher than me just played more than me.
Yeah.
Like, I was never progressing because I didn't play enough to even hit, like, the threshold to progress. So it's just like, that's a waste of time. But no one's fucking going on Cold War, looking at the rank and goes, oh, Blakis is ranked the highest. We should add him to be our substitute in FaZe. Fuck that. They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They'll go pick up whoever they want. So it's a weird, and like all they have to do for the CDL, obviously they needed that 12th spot to be sold and just even be loaned or,
however the fuck Activision sees fit to get rid of it.
Right, that 4th spot needs to be filled regardless. But they then just make it open at the LAN tournaments, just host shit. Or I mean, in this it can even be up to the teams. They could be like, it's not a part of the CDL. But this tournament is here. Like, they can be like, here's $50,000 to the prize pool for the top 3 teams.
Oh yeah.
In the tournament, like they can just host and like that. Like that's
you do
honestly,
high prize pool tournaments. It encourages.
I just thought of a great fucking idea. Like the
Yeah.
teams, if they want, it's not a requirement of it, and it doesn't have to be attached to the CDL. They can just host a tournament. Just gonna be Optics Open LAN, and fucking anyone that can show up, because they're like, oh, anyone can show up to this. You might see like me and you and Boomkid and Soul show up and fuck shit up. And who's also in that same building? Scump and fucking Hex, and they can walk down there and watch. And like Hex is gonna be involved because he's involved in that kind of shit. He's the owner of Optic. He'd walk down and be like, what's going on here? And they see us tearing apart these fucking plumbers. Like, that's how we'd get discovered. And so, like, if they want, because Scump's going to retire soon. Like, we're going to see guys, I keep saying Scump because he's, like, the oldest in the league. Scump's going to retire soon. Clash's going to retire soon. Crimsix is going to retire soon. Like, these legends are going to be going soon. And so, they're going to need discovery because I don't know of any Simps that are coming up. I don't know of any of the Beezies that are coming up.
And it's the same way regular sports works, bro. Like, fucking, I mean, the Seahawks' first thing comes to mind, like Matt Hasselbeck was their quarterback for years, but dude just got old. He played his last league. He's like 45 years old. That's fucking old for a quarterback, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Russell Wilson comes along. He's like in his late 20s, early 30s. Motherfucker's in his prime. He's got another 10 years on him.
Yeah. And you want to talk about like discoverability? Like, obviously, I'm more involved in baseball. Like, my buddy got drafted by the Brewers, and like he's fucking gifted. He's basically the reason I quit baseball because I was on the bench because of him because I had to beat him out.
Yeah. It just never happened.
And yeah, he's a fucking professional baseball player, and I'm a dishwasher. So, and he could hit better than me. I was faster than him. He had a better arm than me. I could come at him off my knees. Like, there was different things. I might be better than him. Whatever. But like, his uncle was a professional pitcher. His dad was in the system. He himself was the bat boy for the Cubs when he was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
So like, his name was kind of in the pot. He got good. Obviously, he smacks the shit out of a baseball. This kid hits a baseball, makes it look like it's a golf ball. And it's like fucking hell. And he's a catcher, so he's smaller. He shouldn't be hitting the way he does. So he's already a star. He's good. But he has a discoverability because of the connections he had. Those systems don't exist in Call of Duty. Like, while he might have had more connections than me, like, say we were exactly the same player, he would get in because of his connection. I wouldn't, because I didn't have my toes in the water like he did.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's definitely kids that come up the MLB. It's like, you suck ass. Who's your father? Oh, the fucking coach. All right. And so they get it, but those systems aren't in place in any. So if the CDL just hosts, not the CDL, the teams who host the venues at the events, they just hosted, hey, here's $50,000. That's not a lot. You're paying $25 million for a spot. I'm sure you can sacrifice $50,000. FaZe is worth $1 billion. here's 50 grand. Well, that's just the number we'll use. And they go, here's an open land. First, we'll say 128 teams will show up, and you play all day, and obviously, and they could, and it's just bracket style. If they really fucking gave a shit, they could just do like losers bracket as well, like a losers bracket up to say like the semifinals or something like that. That way you don't have like 128 teams play, and then they all fucking just start a new bracket. That's much for a weekend. But and you could buy a special ticket obviously to get in. However they do that, and just be like, show up, you can play. Obviously some teams won't show up and they lose. Yeah. And they come in, and then you could just see these kids show up and play Call of Duty, and that's how that system just starts, Yeah,
that was the magic. That was the magic for it for me when I was a kid. When I could think about like, okay, I can try this when I'm older. Like I can go into these tournaments, and because I felt like I was good at COD, I had a good time playing it. Like fuck yeah, it'd be cool to be a professional gamer. I see these other guys doing it.
Yeah. Well, if you listen to the stories of like early like Zuma, who's now retired, but easily like one of the biggest personalities. He like his story was like he played a lot of soccer, whatever, but he got hurt, so then he got into Call of Duty, and then he got on these teams, and then he was like, oh, there's a tournament not far from me, and then like his team would all be guys in like California. Because, if they're playing online, they need to, equal pings, whatever. Yeah. So they're like, oh, hey, there's a tournament in LA. Let's all just meet, and then we'll drive down there. So they would meet up and drive to a tournament, and there's like, the horror stories of them like all getting sick with fucking whatever, and it's a nightmare. I mean, I think that's one of the stories he told on a podcast. Like, it was a nightmare, and they played, and, it was a magical event, but he got discovered, and he got his foot in the water at that point. And he was a nobody, but they just went and showed up, because they could. They could just buy a ticket, show up, fuck shit up, and then they're like, that kid's fucking good. And they say like in Scump's prime he was playing, and I would say plumbers, but like he was playing against plumbers. It's like, yeah, like if you there's a video I watched, it was like 45 minutes. It was like the entire history of the CDL or Call of Duty professional, and it was like random fucking schmucks that were like good at Call of Duty. They just played it on their 97-inch screen TV while their wife was cooking dinner, and they were really good at it. And so they went to these tournaments and fucked shit up, and that was like their side hustle, whatever. Yeah. And you had kids that were actually fucking gods, like Scump, like Nadechat, like Zuma, whoever, that fucked shit up, and they were like, all right, I'm out of this bitch. And they were out, but then like those guys are in the system, like they're the best. So like guy like Doug Sir Martin, who's never going back to the CDL because he's quite honestly shit. I have a video queued up on YouTube. It's 20 minutes of him getting roasted. He's the big Jack guy, the handsome guy who's dating the fucking hot news anchor, and he broke up with her to focus on Call of Duty. Dumbass.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah,
you showed me that guy. He's fucking retarded.
Yeah, but he when he plays 8s, he gets like 7 kills. Like, dude, it's a 10-minute match, and you killed 7 people. Not even a person a minute. Like, bro, you have to land 4 shots. And, like, he'll never be back in the Call of Duty League ever because he's not good enough.
Oh, yeah.
And, whether it comes down to how he grinds, whatever. But, like, he got in when that skill gap wasn't there. But now, we know who he is. Like, honestly, if me and you say we played for a full week and just grinded, trained, like, got good, and we 1v1'd him, we'd probably shit on him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, easily we can compete to his level. But his name's there because he was in it before it all blew up. So I just hope that man, it's I don't think it's a lot that they need to do. Like Sledgehammer has already devoted, like, verbally agreed to making things better for listening to the pro players, doing what they like, making it as good as much of a competitive game as they can. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Activision runs the fucking shit.
Yeah, they'll need the stamp of approval on Activision for everything.
Right. So, and then the teams could, and the teams can do more. Like, there's teams like the Paris Legion, the Royal Ravens. They don't make fucking content.
Dude, like, I forget they're a team. I forget those two teams exist all the time. Because you never see them in finals. You never see them past, like, fucking first round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and, like, obviously we know who FaZe is. We know who Optic is. We know who Dallas Empire is because they're Envy. Yeah. Like, we know who these teams were because they made content. And they kind of had big people backing them. But why are they big? Because they make content. New York Subliners, they're owned by Andbox. Andbox is a pretty big Valorant team. I'm sure they're in other esports, but I just see them in Valorant also. Yeah. But like, they're making content, so we know who these teams are. But like, again, New York, they were nobodies. Andbox really isn't that big of an org. Like, someone who's not involved in esports wouldn't know them, but they would probably know FaZe.
Oh, yeah.
But like, they started making content, and now they can afford Clayster and Crimsix. Like, they're definitely in the top 5 of the highest paid fucking individuals in the CDL.
Yeah.
How do they afford them? Not because their fucking mommy and daddy are any FaZe Clan members. It's because they started making content and diversifying. I mean, Aiden is a, Warzone pro for them.
Yeah.
Since they switched him to Warzone pro from, like, they have different content creators, and then they're growing their fan base. And teams don't make content in the CDL, and that's where, but fucking Activision didn't give a shit. And they're like, you're,
as long as they pay for their spot, they don't care.
Yeah, you're giving me $25 million. So, holy shit, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
Almost. I'll have to do some editing in the morning. But, what an episode. These are going up on Spotify. I think we have every episode up till the last one. So we have 4 through like 11 on there, because I didn't have the other ones on my PC. So they're on Spotify. We try to make the pages to claim them. You can find them on Spotify if you do your research pretty in depth. But we'll assume you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Thanks for looking at mine and A Bizzle's face. Zuck's going to be our third co-host for the foreseeable future, because Cleveland's just taking a break, like we said. And we have some guests lined up, scheduled to be on the podcast soon. So we'll see them soon. If there's anyone you want to see as a guest, leave them in the comments or tweet at us or send me a DM. My socials, AB's socials, and everyone else's socials are in the description. Make sure to go check everyone out, and we'll see everyone in the next podcast. See everyone later. Peace out.